I am going to say AI should not replace underwriting. I think it should be a tool to aid in underwriting. I use AI, you use AI. It's a tool. It's not going to replace underwriting. It's not going to replace underwriters, even though some people think that it can. I wouldn't invest with those people who strictly use AI. So. Welcome to the Ironclad Underwriting Podcast, where precision meets performance in commercial real estate. I'm your host, Jason Williams, and every week we deep dive into the strategies and systems and stories behind rock-solid underwriting. Whether you're a seasoned analyst, an up-and-coming investor, or a commercial real estate professional looking to sharpen your edge, this show is your front row seat to expert insights, emerging trends, and real-world underwriting tactics that stand the test of time and scrutiny. From market assumptions to debt structuring, cap rates to cash flow, we're cutting through the noise and getting to the numbers that matter. So sharpen your pencils and fire up those models. Let's get to work. This is Ironclad Underwriting. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Ironclad Underwriting Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Williams, and I got my good friend, partner, co-host, Frank Patalano with me here today. How are you doing, Frank?
Another good day. Thank you, sir.
Now you have a friend and business partner also, separate from the deals we do, who he uses like Chat GPT to underwrite all his deals or something like that, and he just puts in some numbers and gets a result and then moves forward with it. I think it's like for smaller multifamily, you know who I'm talking about.
I'm not 100% sure you're talking about. I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of partners, and I have a lot of people that I know that use AI for just about everything.
I'm thinking of your world traveler friend who's
Oh,
always
yeah,
in
yeah.
India.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that's scary just because you and I see mistakes all the time with AI. So,
Yeah. No, I think he was saying he did one once and he bought a property using AI as his underwriting. And I think he was saying he's having some troubles with it. I don't remember exactly. Maybe I'll have to bring him on for further interview on it. But
yeah.
he's sold on AI. And I feel and I use as a tool. It's not like the end all be all. AI can make everything look pretty. It can give you what you want, and it really strokes your ego. So if you really want a deal to work, it can make it look like it works. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, so I think we need to go in. How can we use AI effectively for underwriting? What it can do, and what you shouldn't trust it to do. So let's dive in. I have seen like custom GPTs for Chat GPT, where you can go in and you can create your own, almost like your own prompt, so that it can do the same thing over and over again. You don't have to keep entering the prompts, and you can improve it over time. I have seen where you can import an OM, a rent roll, and a T12, and it'll give you a valuation. It'll give you some numbers, and that's about it. You can't really do anything else. You can't really export it and send to a lender. You can't export it and send to investors or share with other investors or other partners. You might be able to do that. I'm not sure on how you can share with other partners using the the share feature in ChatGPT. But I know,
I played with the share feature a little bit, but
but like lenders, they need like something concrete. They want to see your work. They want to know how you're underwriting to make sure, one, it makes sense, and two, so that they can underwrite for a good loan. So you need to be able to at least communicate that with them. If you're doing like a syndication, I don't understand how you can do it. And I'm sure there's people out there who do it, but maybe I am naive that it would be difficult. But one thing that I see a lot is it might come up with an NOI, but it's not even calculating everything properly. It's like missing like all the expenses or overestimating your gross potential rent or something like that. So, and when you're looking at it, it looks like it would be good, but since you don't know what the calculations are it's using, you're kind of like guessing that it's correct, So,
yeah, that's what worries me the most is I mean, you're really good at this when we've looked at some other underwriting software and underwriter programs, figure out what's broken, figuring out where the mistakes and errors are. It sounds like for AI, it would be a little harder to find those answers quickly.
Yeah. What AI is good at, like I said, you can upload a OM, a rent roll, and a T12, and you can have the AI parse all the data. You can have it pull everything out and populate maybe a spreadsheet or populate an app or something. You can look at that and it'll pull it up. But really, the way AI works, and I've been using it like almost 8 hours a day for the last, what, almost a year now, 9 months, is if you feed it too much information, it's going to start losing context. And if you like import a T12 or rent roll, and then you start having to do calculations, and especially like monthly calculations, it's going to get all those numbers jumbled up, and it can get scary fast. So really, if you're going to use AI, use it to parse the data, store it somewhere else, and then maybe use AI again to capture it and not use it in the same session or chat or whatever you call it.
I mean, the
Um,
benefit to it is that, like you said, you're using 8 hours a day. The benefit to it is that it definitely saves you time. You just have to be careful where where you want it to save you time.
yeah. Definitely save you time. I remember the good old days when you get a OM, a rent roll, and T12, and maybe you're looking at 400 some odd units, and now you have to populate 400 units with 25 different floor plans into a spreadsheet. That could get tedious if you're copying and pasting. It's error prone. So you want AI to do the tedious stuff, the stuff that takes a long time, but there's really no value in it. So if you can use it to extract data, that's one thing. If you want it to calculate, I'd be hesitant. One thing also is you can have AI go into an Excel spreadsheet. You can have it put the data in depending on how the spreadsheet's set up, but you can also have it go in and analyze all the formulas to make sure that they're all correct, make sure there's no dead cells and stuff like that. Now I'm giving you all like gold here. So if you're not using AI to vet your Excel sheets, then you need to start. So, but one thing is with underwriting, especially if you're only looking at like annual numbers versus monthly numbers, it's like you need to be able to account for that, what you want to account for. And like I said, too much information will bog down the AI. So you have to like piecemeal it, maybe create different sessions to do it.
I mean,
But
it's definitely you definitely still have to double check stuff. I mean, an assumption that you might have that a spreadsheet might not catch would be like looking at neighborhood maps and deciding what is your real competition to the property. And when you're comparing other properties around it and you're saying, wow, the rent should be here, but the rent's here, it could be a problem. You can't just
yeah,
trust AI to do everything for you.
right. And honestly, you can't even trust people to do everything for you. You have to be able to.
True.
Um, I mean, how many times have you gotten an OM with comps on it that are from properties across the street, which you're looking at like a 1960s vintage, and the property across the street is a 2005. You know?
Well, I mean, with the average OM, we know where it comes from, and we know that they automatically have a certain rose-colored glasses going on situation when they're not necessarily looking at the same way a buyer would look at it.
Yeah. But there are tools you can use. Like Perplexity is like a search engine type. I've never used Perplexity per se, but I have seen like some results of it, and it can go into like some sub-market research and stuff like that. Again, you want to double check everything. If you're looking at like general purpose LLMs, you're looking at like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Copilot, stuff like that. But then there are commercial real estate specific models. I think
So for our
Archer's a
listeners that don't know what LLM means, it's a large language model. It's just a type of AI, right?
yeah, that's like the generic term for like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Copilot. So
Yep.
there are like full pipeline platforms like Archer where you can go in and put in your OM and rent roll and T12 and it'll populate stuff like that. There are CRE specific tools where again OM, rent roll, T12, and you can plug it into like your specific Excel sheet type model, or you can use a generic model. But ones like Archer are like institutional grade and super expensive.
I was gonna say,
My
sounds expensive.
my understanding, Argus, CoStar Yardi, they are like again institutional and expensive. And there's a new one coming out
Oh,
um,
really?
called called Ironclad, which I heard is an open beta, which is its own model, but it pulls in the rent roll and T12 and OM for you, populates everything. It lets you go in and double check, make sure everything is coming in properly. Because sometimes you're importing a rent roll and it comes in with 119 units when there's actually 124, and so there's like 5 mystery units missing somewhere. So you have to go in and fix that. But yeah, AI I feel is a tool, but it shouldn't be your calculator. It shouldn't be doing the calculations. And that's how I've developed Ironclad is I've created Ironclad with my model, but use AI for the parts that's tedious for people.
I mean,
Um,
back to the your new Ironclad software platform. How do you get a T12 onto it?
so really, once you pull up the app, it's online. You go to the website, you log in, you click new project, and it'll let you just drag in a OM, a T12, and a rent roll. It automatically determines what kind of file it is, so you don't have to do it manually. So, and also, if you're already looking at a deal in existence, a lot of times you get like T12s and rent rolls throughout because it takes the time to do it. You can go in and you can upload a new one automatically. So
No, I
that's how I
assume it
do it.
won't work with paper napkins.
Um, it depends on how the paper napkin is. It has to be in Excel or PDF format. So if you take a picture of a paper napkin and convert it to a PDF,
Then it might.
and it might. It depends on how you format. But if you just write it out, it's going to be harder. So, but you can go in and manually do it if you need to. If you're looking at paper napkins, D12s, which I have seen, or legal pad rent rolls. So,
Well, now you're definitely we're definitely dating ourselves when we talk about that stuff. I remember my mom used to put stuff on a legal pad for finances and managing properties. So
well, I've toured properties before, multifamily and like mobile home communities. And when I'm talking with the owner, they're just writing everything out on the legal pad, and then they hand it to me at the end of the meeting. So I have gotten those with fairly recently. So let's see. Anything else for AI? I mean, really, it's almost like a buyer beware type situation where if you don't know what you're getting out, you can really burn yourself.
so where is AI strong? What's its strongest piece?
Ooh, that could be like a podcast in itself because each one could be different. Like ChatGPT has different strong points than like Claude. Claude, I feel, is better for like systems, creating systems and coding and stuff like that. They all have like a little coding thing if you're a programmer. I feel Claude is stronger in that regard. Chat GPT, I feel, is like stronger in making things pretty. Gemini, they have their like nano banana or whatever. They're good for like creating images and stuff like that. So everyone has its strong points. And it's kind of weird the way I've seen them develop in the last few months is they all sort of like stay in their lanes. Yeah, they might ChatGPT does have like a coding thing, but they're going to let Claude do their coding thing and they're going to stay in their lane. So, I mean, I have subscriptions to Claude and ChatGPT where I actually pay, and I use Gemini, the free version, just as much. So,
I mean, one of the things I think that AI underwriting does, if it can work right, is that the underwriter is spending a lot less time typing in everything and a lot more time trying to make judgments and the assumptions.
yes, fine tuning it. The user needs to be able to fine tune it. The user, I mean, you go in and say, all right, we have to renovate 183 units, and these units need new floors and new countertops and new this and new that. Are you using AI to determine the prices for all of those and you're just guessing, or are you able to manually enter those yourself? So Depends on how you use it. Again, I would use AI only for the tedious part and not the calculation or the thinking part. So,
So, are
um,
you telling me that underwriting is going to be dead after we've just spent a year on this podcast?
I am going to say AI should not replace underwriting. I think it should be a tool to aid in underwriting. So, and if you're not using AI, I think everybody should be using it. Really, you're it helps in so many ways. So, and if you are interested in experience in AI and underwriting a good true way, you can sign up for the open beta for Ironclad, which is at ironcladunderwriting.com/beta tester. And then that will let you use AI, but also have calculations that are backed by real financial models, waterfalls that are actually from the ILPA, which is the International Limited Partners Association. So they go into like the waterfall structures on how everything's supposed to be calculated. Most models that I have seen with waterfalls are done incorrectly with like the GP clawback and all that other stuff. And so with Ironclad, you can do it properly based on the international standards. So
So, I
um,
mean, what's the difference between this and like when they started OCR software and everything else?
so OCR is what, optical character
Character
recognition.
recognition. Yeah, it was just how you could take like old numbers and just instantly scan it and put it into a spreadsheet.
Yeah. I don't know how the LLMs actually work, but I believe they do use the OCR because if you look at or if you talk to the AI and you upload a picture or a PDF or whatever, it will tell you what it sees and it'll see everything. And then it'll like pull the data off of it. So it will OCR automatically when you're OCRing before. And a lot of times I had to go to like PDF to Excel.com or something like that, where you can upload a PDF and get an Excel sheet. And if you ever get any T12s or rent rolls, even 3 years ago, that's what you were doing. 2 years ago, you're having to convert it to Excel so you can use it. And a lot of times it would miss formats. It would add a bunch of columns that shouldn't even be there. It would start making like it'll have like the name of the complex or whatever, and if it's like a really long name it'll break it up and then it'll start making columns based on that name. So it really messed up and you're spending more time reformatting that Excel sheet to be able to parse that data manually than AI can do it, like I say, instantaneously. But on Ironclad, if you upload an OM, a rent roll, and a T12 all at once, it might take like 90 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever. So,
Not
so it
bad.
is. So it is crunching numbers, but that is saving you hours and hours of work if you're doing it manually. So,
I'm
yeah.
wondering when it's going to get to the point that AI can do my taxes for me, and then I'll just tell the IRS, well, AI told me that's what I owed you.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it could, but again, do you trust it?
I don't trust it yet. Um,
Yeah.
I like some of the basics. I like the idea of saving me a few hours of typing in. I've typed in rent rolls by hand before. I am definitely not ready for it to work on the assumptions. That's what experienced underwriters are for.
And you can use AI. You can say, "Hey, I'm in this market. What are things going for? What kind of assumptions should I use?" And it can give you like a range to use, and then you get to pick it. But if you're trusting it to fill it in your model automatically, maybe it's picking like something in the mid range when you know this property is older, so it should be on the lower range, or it's newer, it should be on that higher range. So it's like really, how do you know it's doing what you want it to do? And then if you're doing having it do all the calculations for you, how easy is it for you to go in and change or run different scenarios or even run sensitivity studies or something like that? So, and that's a big one is sensitivity studies. Even Excel sheets, a lot of Excel sheets don't even do that. So you have to, if you do a sensitivity study, you're like copying a model, renaming it to something else, and then inputting that new assumption so that you can get data from for a broad range of things. So I've seen people try to do sensitivity studies like that, and that's if you're trying to do like more than one, you're going to end up with like maybe dozens, if not hundreds, of files, and then you have to somehow use that data and compile it, which can be kind of scary as well. So really, I use AI. You use AI. It's a tool. It's not going to replace underwriting. It's not going to replace underwriters, even though some people think that it can. I wouldn't invest with those people who strictly use AI. So, you have anything else?
I do not, sir.
So if you use AI for your underwriting, put it in the comments or email us or let us know. You can actually email us at questions@ironcladunderwriting.com. Now, I created that from our last Q&A podcast, and now there's actually an email that goes to everyone on the podcast, so you can email us and we'll all get it, and then we can either tie it into a new Q&A episode, or if it's a pretty good question that requires its own episode, we can do that as well. So again, questions@ironcladunderwriting.com. You can find me at LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, all of the above. And I think, Frank, you're on all of the above as well.
Yeah, pretty much all over.
And if you are interested in working or experimenting with a new underwriting web app, go to ironcladunderwriting.com/beta tester. You can sign up for the beta test, which is an open beta right now, so it's free, and you can underwrite all you want on there. You can share it with investors, share it with lenders, share it with partners, and yeah, we'll catch you next time. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Ironclad Underwriting Podcast. If you got value from today's conversation, make sure to subscribe, rate, and share the show. And don't forget to connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or check us out at our website at ironcladunderwriting.com for more insights and updates. If you have a question, a deal you're analyzing, or a topic you want us to tackle, shoot us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep your assumptions grounded, your models sharp, and your underwriting ironclad.